Hello, winners, and welcome to Two for the Win with your host, Nick and Will. I give up on the NFL season. I can't figure it out. College, can't figure it out. Anyway, we'll chat about it, but
So this is our last episode.
I'd be crying on that one. I actually did make, so please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform, and check out the link for Hard Rock Bet. So what I was about to say is I actually made money on the bets. Not a lot, but you know what I did? I did something different. I got to share this. I'll share this live just because There was, I forget what game it was. It was in the early slate of the NFL games, and somebody scored a touchdown who had like plus 2,000 odds to score a touchdown. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to throw $1, $2, $4 on all the people who are anytime touchdown from plus 400 to I went to plus 1,000. And I ended up betting like $60 total on all these like little micro bets. I ended up getting a payout of 130. So I more than doubled my money because there was like 4 that hit between the afternoon games in the Kansas City. Anyway, this is not betting advice. If you got gambling issues, go seek. I don't know. There's one of those numbers in there. But anyway, there was something to it. So and in fact, the Seattle Commanders game, everyone who scored a touchdown except for Daniels on that one was not a normal person. So I cleaned up in that game. But anyway.
Yeah, happy for you.
Yeah, if you want to take your pick, because forget about picking the games anymore.
No.
I'm going like player props or stuff like that. But anyway, happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Will and the winners.
Yeah, that was the only silver lining from last week is I made a little money because other than that, I was not happy with a lot of those games outcomes. One in particular. But how about your thoughts? Let's start with college football. That tends to be the way we go. What were your thoughts about last week?
Well, first, before we start that, congratulations to the Dodgers to win the World Series.
Oh, yeah.
I don't follow baseball for a long time, being from Europe, and the first few years didn't really pay attention of it. So it's been probably 4 or 5 years that I pay attention. But this year, I probably watched 120 games of the Yankees. So I really paid a lot of attention to the season, and I didn't miss a lot of the playoffs. And I'm very, very surprised by the opposition of Tampa on the way that they were able to play. Toronto, Tampa. Yeah. Toronto, the way they're able to play against Dodgers, I didn't think at all. I had the gentleman sweep, which didn't happen, but for the better, because what a series. Yeah. The reason why I started this soliloquy by telling that is because it's the best that I ever saw, but it doesn't mean much because I probably follow like 5 total. But I cannot imagine a way better series than this one. Like a series go like that. First game, Dodgers go win there. I said, okay, my gentleman sweep is good. Oh no, the first game is actually Toronto who wins. And I said, okay, they're not going to win anymore. Then they won the game 2, game 3, like 18 innings. That was phenomenal. And then drop 2 games at home. And I'm like, what's happening? And then they win with Yamamoto. Game 7, I mean, there is nothing better than game 7 in sports. And this game 7 was just mind-blowing. And really, really happy with the outcome. But it could have been either way. I mean, it literally details dictate the game. But when Will Smith was like on the plate with his feet. The feet comes out and go back in like a millisecond before otherwise the game is over. For Toronto wins the World Series. That's how close it was. So I want to give a shout out to the Dodgers. Yeah. I really think it was a fantastic game, and also a shout out to the Toronto Blue Jays as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you started us off there because I have watched baseball since the 80s, and this was a top 5 World Series of all time because they had the 18-inning marathon, which lasted tied for the longest World Series game ever, which was just amazing. That game 6 finish with that double play was crazy on that one, and then game 7 was
and Ohtani, that game epic. That he just had 9 on base.
Yeah, and obviously Yamamoto, who won the World Series MVP, to pitch 90 some odd pitches, and then the next day to pitch 3 innings and pitch well. Just impressive. But yeah, that play. And then you have to give Dave Roberts a shout out. Like the substitutions he made all paid off in that game 7 because, the guy hit the tying home run in the 9th. Then he's the one who throws out the player at the plate. And you're right. His foot came up and came back down Will Smith. And then he's the one who hits the game winning home run. On
catcher. That's a catcher's year.
Yeah. And it just heck of a World Series. So just go down memory lane real quick. I would say the Yankees Diamondbacks also went 7 games, and that's when the Diamondbacks won with that 9th inning base hit. Craig Counsell had one as a player. But the funny where I'm going with this is the last time Toronto was in a World Series back in 93 or whatever it was, Joe Carter hit that home run in the 9th inning. So I know baseball is America's pastime, but you got to give a hats off to the Canadian Toronto Blue Jays. The last time they're in a World Series was an epic one. This one was an epic one. It was tough. It was tough that any team had to lose, but I agree with you. And when you have the casual sports fan, like talking about that game 7, that's the magic baseball needs to get back to relevancy. And I think the NFL, is a huge cash cow. And I'm not saying baseball is going to pass the NFL in popularity, but some of this stuff with the refs in the NFL are starting to tick off fans, and they keep going with the overseas game, which is fine. They want it, but you can go to the well one too many times. I think they got to be careful because baseball changed with that pitch clock, which made the game easier to watch.
That's the key.
They changed with how many substitutions you can do or how many mound visits and stuff and timeouts, and it's picked up the pace of play. So it's not cumbersome to watch a game anymore.
Yeah, and the TV right in football. I'm lucky. I have all those subscription, or I have all the accesses. But oh my God, I wanted to watch something. I know NBA the same thing. I want to watch something. I know it's Peacock. Okay, go to Peacock. But people who don't have that, they cannot watch their team and stuff. So and NFL, I understand Euro game and stuff like that. We know the ultimate goal is to get a team from London and then Germany eventually, and the third one, Spain, to eventually have a team. And baseball, they start doing the same thing because they start the league, the season in Japan. Yeah. But I think, I need to pay attention with those things. Again, it's adding revenue from those different continents, but it's upsetting the local fans. And I think NFL couldn't care less about that, and they're very clear about the way. You have 8 games at home a year, so when you have like 2 of them in Europe, well, for the fans, that's 25% of their home game that they're losing. Yeah. So but anyway, you mentioned college football, and I have to give a shout out to my team, Longhorns.
Big upset.
I said last week Vanderbilt should be winning this game, but if we win, things will change. Again, Georgia won again last seconds. If Georgia lost that game, everything was back SEC on the plate because Florida played an amazing game. They deserve better than that. I think that it was a catch. I saw it a million times. You can see that when you see the ball from the back and you see that it's on the grass pretty much, you cannot say it because you don't see the gloves. Mm-hmm. But the gloves touch the forearm on the other hand. So, and you see clearly the ball bouncing on the forehand on the left side and going on the right side. That's where people say touch the ground. But the glove needs to be somewhere, so the glove is probably under. And on the camera, you cannot see it, but the hand is somewhere, so it has to be under. But anyway, we can I think if it was called a catch, it would have not been overruled neither. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those, but that changed everything. Ole Miss consistent. They keep winning. Georgia winning. The rest were by. So it's a little bit different. Oklahoma at Tennessee. That's gonna be interesting. But SEC is wide open. You have literally Ole Miss, Bama, Georgia, who have a little bit advanced. But in 2 weeks is Georgia, Texas. Texas are by now, which is great. So we have 2 weeks preparation against Georgia. If it's a big if, we can go there and win, everything is back. Then we
time.
We have Arkansas and Texas A&M, both game at home. If the last game is A&M to go to the championship, SEC championship game, there's no way that Texas lose that game. We'd never lose to A&M those games. So, but Georgia will be, of course, it's it's a college you don't win against usually, Georgia. So we'll see what's gonna happen. But I think college football is still great, even though a lot of things doesn't make sense. The constant is Indiana, of course. Ohio State as well. But Ohio State didn't play anyone other than Texas, and they won against Texas 14-7.
Yeah.
Don't forget that, because people say, oh, Ohio State. They won by 7 at home against Texas. While, Manning was not playing the best game that game. Since then, I think that he's playing way better than people give him credit for, with no O-line.
Yeah.
But I'm really, really pleased with the way that the game was. And the final thing I want to say about last weekend is Utah. Utah had that win, and I still believe that Utah beating Cincinnati that way, that's going to be fantastic for the rush, the last 4 games that they play between BYU, Texas Tech, and them, and even Cincinnati. Those 4 teams can win the Big 12. I think it's going to be a fantastic last 6 weeks.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely, and I think to take a little different take. I mean, here's more coaches firings, right? Like you see South Carolina, they had it with the offensive coordinator, and then who else just got fired on the coaches side? Anyway,
the coach of Auburn.
Yeah, that's right. Auburn. That's what it was. Thank you. Yeah. So it's like, it's going to be interesting because you see these big name schools with the openings. I mean, there's only so many big name candidates out there. So it's going to be interesting to see who they pick. And there's a sneaky suspicion. You follow this closer, so you may have more insight. I heard whispers Kiffin may stay.
Of course, there's a possibility, but I do believe he's going to go to Florida. I have a feeling. And
but
Saban,
if he stayed, and Saban.
Coach Saban to LSU. LSU is his alma mater. And he always said if he's a team he would go back to, it would be LSU. But if the rumors are true that they're offering him like $15 million a year for 3 years, or $45 million it's 4 years, $60 million. And apparently he flew. People saw him in the local airport next to the university earlier this week. If that is true and it's in the end of Miss Saban, I know Miss Saban said you cannot decline $15 million a year. We'll see. But if he gets out of it, I mean, if I would be him, I would stay in college game day, living my life, living the. But if you are a coach with so much success, you're missing probably the locker room and all that. I don't think he missed the NIL, but I think all the rest he probably missed. If he decide, let's do 4 more years and go back to LSU, that's going to turn the whole thing up as well, because recruits are going to go to LSU.
Oh yeah, and Alabama's going to be crying.
No, but I think Alabama are in good hands.
Yeah. But see Saban and another SEC team, I want them to rehire Ed Orgeron just because of the press conferences. Tigers. Just for the press conferences. I'm not saying he's a good coach, bad coach, but those press conferences are memorable. So, yeah, I think, a lot's going to happen in college football. We'll see. I mean, as you look ahead to this week, you got, what do we have here? We have Indiana and Penn State. So Indiana's favored by 16.5 at Penn State. I would take the over, or take Indiana and the points. BYU, Texas Tech. Like, this is a game that flies under the radar. BYU is 8 ranked, undefeated. Texas Tech had some trouble with K-State in the first half, pulled ahead in the second half, playing at Texas Tech. They're favored by 10.5, which seems like an awfully big spread against a team that's undefeated. How do you see this game?
I see Texas Tech winning that game.
Yeah.
It's a home game. They just had a difficult game, so the coach will be able to, you can take those difficult win as a loss, mentally, and said, hey, if we play that game that same way against BYU. So I think this week training is probably a way better week of training because the focus will be there. They play literally for the first place in Big 12. So I see them winning against BYU.
All right. Yeah, I see that as well. The next one is my upset pick special for college. Texas A&M travels to Missouri. Give me Missouri.
I hope you're right.
I think Missouri. So Texas A&M is 3rd, undefeated, but they've had a lot of close games. Texas A&M, Missouri. they're strong. For people who don't follow college football, it's a solid program. I thought when they moved to the SEC, they were going to fall flat. They haven't. They're respectable. I'm not saying they're world beaters, but they're playing in Missouri. They got a running game. I'm going with the upset. Missouri hands them a loss.
A&M has two good wins. Mm-hmm. It's Notre Dame and LSU.
Yeah.
LSU, we know they're nowhere near what people thought they were. Notre Dame, I will never forgive Coach Freeman for what happened there. So I think that's 100% on the coach. It takes them had no business winning that game.
Right.
So, hey, at the end of the day, they won.
Right.
So you need to give them credit, even though I hate giving credit to the Aggies. But we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. But I would love to see an upset there of Mizzou upsetting them. That's going to be, again, one of those games that we'll remember during college game day.
Yeah, I think. And the other, I'm not going to say this is an upset, but don't be surprised if this goes down to a field goal, is Oregon traveling to Iowa. Iowa's defense, it's going to be a low-scoring game. And they got a quarterback for the first time in a while, but we'll see. We'll see on that one. Really no other ranked matchups next week, although you have LSU playing at Alabama. Alabama's favored by 11.5.
Can you believe announcements the same day in the morning? Saban signed LSU. That would be a good way to kick off this game.
I love the way you think. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. We'll see. We'll see on that one. But any of the other slated games you want to cover? There's no other ranked
just
matchups.
Miami very upsetting the way that they are collapsing again.
November.
It's crazy. I mean, Cristobal or not Cristobal, the coach should be out. I'm sorry. Again, very high expectation, and again collapsing the same way as they always collapse. I need to be consistent. I was consistent with Penn State. I need to and Kelly. It's the same here. What are we doing? And then the quarterback, when he plays well, when everything clicks, he's phenomenal. But again, the way he put everybody under the bus, like two losses in a row, 2 times that he put. The first time he said, "Oh, the wide receiver didn't run the routes that they were supposed to." You don't say that in interview,
right?
And no, this time, well, I execute what the coach tell me, and it was the same call all game. Oh my God! You say that after a game like that, the guy has no shame. He's like, "I'm the best,"
not a leader.
He's not at all a leader. So I think that's gonna be hurting him for the draft.
Yeah.
Because he has the arm, he has the physical capabilities, but the mindset. I mean, there was a problem with it. There's a reason why Georgia had no problem seeing him go.
Yeah.
And now he's doing the same thing with the U. I think for the next step, he's gonna drop drastically because of that.
You would think, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So, a couple good games on the college slate. Let's pivot now to the NFL. Which game you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the Packers. You need to watch the video just for his face. Expectation. My co-host, his best friend, has very high expectation because the problem is that they always making believe a week and making believe, oh my God, if everything click like that, we can. And I agree. If they play the perfect kind of game like they did a week ago, yes, of course, like every team, if they play the perfect game plan, but they're not consistent. And the quarterback, that's my issue. He fucked up again. And so that's just, it's not possible that you are playing like that against the Cowboys, against the Browns, no, against the Panthers. Even though the Panthers, they have the best season they had for a while now. Since McCaffrey, I think they play the best season they have. But still, when you play at home, you're not supposed to be struggling against the Panthers that way. But
no,
what do you think?
I think the Packers left, so they had a missed field goal. They had a 4th and 8 that they decided to go for it when they didn't need to. That's another 3 points. And on the very first drive, they fumbled within the 10-yard line. Yeah. Which would have been at least 3. Let's say it's a touchdown because they were really moving the ball well. So they left anywhere, you could say 9 points to 13 points on the field. My biggest issue, Jordan Love got away with, he should have had thrown a pick 6 when he lobbed that ball in the end zone. The guy dropped it. But outside of that, I didn't really have a problem with Jordan Love. My problem was with the coach and his decision making. LaFleur, this is the first time I felt this way. I've always given him the benefit of the doubt. He came out of nowhere, and he's a good coach. The analogy that I was putting on X yesterday as I went off on X in some different threads was, this is the analogy I have for LaFleur. He is this generation's Tony Dungy with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is a good coach. For the first time yesterday, I believe he is not a Super Bowl winning coach with the Packers. My guess is he goes to another team at some point. He's a good enough coach, just like Dungy went to the Colts and then won a Super Bowl. That's what I see for LaFleur. For this guy, the team comes out flat way too much, too long. And it's not just this year. If it was just this year, I'd try to be more temperate, but I felt like I'm seeing similar patterns. They come out against teams they should be, and they're flat. They're not prepared. They're not ready. He makes decisions in the heat of the moment that are mind-numbing. Like, how did they, against the Cowboys, they had all that craziness at the end where they a half a second away from losing that game because that ball would have dropped and that game would have been over because the players weren't lined up right. You look at special teams, has been an Achilles heel for the Packers. He's responsible for that. And then against the Carolina, again, the same thing. They have a penalty. They move back to 4th and 8. He decides to go for it anyway. There's 12 minutes left in the game. You're down by 6 points, whatever it was. And the defense is playing well. Like, the Packers' problem this year has not been their defense. And that falls on the coach. And then the O-line penalties. So they hired a new offensive line coach this past year. And this O-line has more penalties than I've ever seen from the Packers. Packers are usually one of the lower penalized team in the NFL. My problem is when the same mistakes repeat and the coach, we talked about Franklin. If I hear LaFleur say, well, we weren't prepared, we made too many mental mistakes, that's on me. If I hear him say that again, I may buy a ticket to Green Bay and strangle that man. Like, enough of the words. Just get the stuff done. I don't like repeated issues, and I have serious doubts that he could be a Super Bowl winning coach. You're right. You get seduced because you see glimpses of dominance, but they're inconsistent. And I'm not going into any. I could see them beating Philly next week and then losing to the Giants the week after. I could see them getting blown out by Philly. But I mean, that's the thing with this team. And so here's my prediction. You can hear now. It probably won't happen, but because now I have decided LaFleur is probably not a Super Bowl winning coach. I am intrigued with Hafley, their defensive coordinator, and he used to be a head coach in Boston College. If I could wave a magic wand at the end of the year, assuming Green Bay flares out, assuming they make the playoffs, but they lay an egg, make Hafley the head coach, keep the offensive staff intact, except for the O-line coach. I would fire that guy. That way, Love has continuity with the scheme, which that's the thing with LaFleur. His scheme is strong. He schemes guys open and stuff like that, but his play calling during the game is suspect. Like the plays that he's calling sometimes in certain moments don't make sense. But anyway, I'm upset. So take this with a grain of salt, winners. But I am not happy with Matt LaFleur.
Well, you heard it first. My co-host take on this. I have the solution actually for the Packers.
Here we go.
Based on what my co-host just said,
yeah,
I will just say something out of there. Gruden is available. And you know what happened in Tampa Bay?
Yeah, and he was on the Packers staff with Mike Holmgren back in the day with Brett Favre. I would love that, but I don't think he would go to Green Bay.
That would be. Hey, if he's right, LaFleur go out, Gruden do the same thing he did with Tampa Bay.
If he did that back to back like that, that would be wild.
And yeah, no. But
I would take Gruden because Gruden's offense, so he would keep Hafley.
Yeah,
as defense. I really like what Hafley does with the defense. That was the thing with the Packers thread. People were complaining about the defense because they didn't have any sacks, but you give up 16 points at home. It's tough to say, oh, did the defense play a dominant game? No, but they played well enough to win.
Yeah.
I don't put that game on the defense.
Yeah, and for the rest, I think that you need to say something about Seattle. Seattle, like Darnold, the first half he did, it's one of the best first half I ever saw from a quarterback. It's impressive what he continued. He's consistent. Yes, he had 2 bad games at the wrong time last year with Minnesota, but he got literally kicked out and go another place and learn a new scheme. And look what he's doing again. I mean, him. Mayfield, and now we can start saying Vince Young as well in Carolina. Those who had a very tricky start, Carolina, I believe, and stayed the pace. But when you see where Cleveland are today, like you mentioned last week, if Cleveland had Mayfield, they would be very happy, and if the Jets had Darnold, I think they would be happy as well. So, so that's something I like to see. Minnesota defense also, even though they played against Detroit, is that?
Yeah.
They're going to Detroit. They beat Detroit. I mean,
in Detroit.
So, I mean, that division, your division, Chicago won. So that division is very, very interesting with everything that's happening. But again, let's look into the future.
Well, let's wait. I want to rant on whoever you can't fire an owner, right? So I get it. But whoever put that Bengals defense together, what is the point? What was the point of them signing Hendrickson? You might as well fire all those players. Yeah. Because even if you put back, you can't 47. They gave up 47 points to the Bears. And after they had an improbable comeback to take the lead, and then that tight end, it was a simple pass. Mm-hmm. It wasn't anything fancy. And that guy splits the defenders and the guy tries to shoulder tackle him. The other guy completely whiffed. Why not just start a bunch of rookies or first year guys, save the money, take the cap hit, and next year, that defense is ridiculous.
No, it's insane. I thought
you got Joe Flacco, 470 yards, the oldest player ever in the history of the NFL to throw for that many yards. If I was a Bengals fan, I would be beside myself because they're doing the offense. And you said this, the offense is doing everything for them to win. So when Burrow comes back, they could be a problem. But with that defense, you can't take them seriously with that defense.
Higgins.
Higgins,
some of the catch he had. Chase is not happy. Brown are not happy. I think if they don't want to lose their star because they're just sick and tired of it, they need to do something. And the coach is not a coach. He's not a net coach. We need to change Zach, whatever, Tyler or whatever. Yeah, Taylor, we need to change this because I love the Bengals like offensive scheme and stuff, but you cannot have the Jets scoring 40 points and the week after 45 plus for Chicago Bears and expecting anything from it. I mean, if you're that great offensively and that bad defensively, I mean, I know I always thought the Cowboys had something like that, but I take my defense all day, every day compared to the Bengals defense.
100 times out of 100. That's ridiculous. But one other point, Josh Allen moves to 5-1 against Pat Mahomes in the regular season. Buffalo held serve at home. But that Seahawks team right now, who would want to play the Seahawks? They're undefeated on the road. Forget at home, where they're known for. They have defense travels, running game travels. They have 2 good running backs. They got the Thunder and Lightning.
And
I would not want to play the Seahawks right now. But we do need to pivot, and I have to give the hats off to my co-host. He made the upset. Really, I texted him at one point. I'm like, you're going to go 2-0, which is the jinx, I suppose. But you did win one. I missed on both. I went with the NFC East with the Commanders and Giants.
Wow.
I should have known better. But kudos to you. And you now have the honors, my friend, this week.
Thank you so very much. Yes, that clock is right twice a day, right? but anyway, this week I have the honor for once, so that feels weird to start with the pick. But I'm taking the Browns, who are underdog at the Jets, and I think the Browns defense are way too good for the Jets offense. And I believe that Daniels, or who knows, Shadur will be able to put some points in New York. So I will take the Browns as my first upset pick.
If you did not go first, that was going to be my pick. I for all the reasons you said, I think the Browns defense is legit. Jets don't have enough to score. But instead, I am not able to pick that. So I am going to take the Jaguars, who go to Houston to play the Texans. I think they will win. And then I am also going to take, it pains me to do this.
Ooh,
I'm going to take the Vikings over the Ravens. I know there's a lot of hype with Lamar Jackson back. And granted, they did look good last week. But every time I'm about to write off JJ McCarthy, then he does something good. Like he played a good game against Detroit. And Detroit has been looking like Detroit of last year. That's no small feat to go into Detroit and win. And I know you made a comment off air about their defense of the Vikings. They blitz more than most teams, but the blitz is effective. It's getting there. So I think the Vikings can win and handle the Ravens.
Yeah, they have great cornerback and safety as well. So they're really good if Jackson wants to throw a ball to Batman or whatever. I think that's dangerous. So, and offensively, I mean, they're legit. So yeah, that's two great picks. I hope you lose, but no. And my second pick will be New England Patriots to go win in Tampa at the Bucs, where they are underdog currently at the time of recording by 2.5 points. So those will be my two picks.
I think that actually has a chance to be the game of the week because I think Patriots are playing well. Drake May is playing excellent. Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield. Right now, the over-under is 48.5. Take the over. Take the over. I think that's going to be a heck of a game. But some really good matchups next week. A lot of narrow point spreads, so next week should be good. But any last closing thoughts before we wrap up?
We love sport.
I did not love last Sunday. That was a day. Couldn't take it off the calendar. But we do love. I mean, the World Series, these games even are just crazy. You don't know what to expect. On it. So
and start of the college basketball also this week. So we have everything now. We have college basketball, college football, NFL, NBA, NHL, everything but baseball.
UFC. Yeah. It's a great time. All right, winners. That'll do it for this episode. Please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform. And again, shout out. Hey, you want to bet on some of these long shot touchdown, anytime touchdown scores? Do so responsibly. But check out Hard Rock Bet in our description and set up an account if you don't have one. We will see you next Fanatic Friday. Take care, winners.
Bye, winners.